Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be with y'all today, and I hope you're having a good day, and I hope you had a good weekend. Good to see Bad Roxy, good to see a Kit. Hope everyone's doing well, and Bad Roxy, you have won the crown of Firstendom! I give you the crown of TwitchCon, and I'm very sorry about that. It was an experience, TM. It was weird. On the one hand, for the record, I did enjoy TwitchCon in the end. Particularly the panels I attended that were very insightful and helpful on like, hey, here's things to do to help grow your channel and like little things you can do with your branding, etc. That were really insightful and really good. But it was also weird because no one wanted to know about your channel. They only wanted to tell you about theirs. It felt like Hollywood. You know, everyone had a script or wanted to be a director or an actor, and they wanted to let you know it. Okay, updates to his daycare app. Oh no! But I'm sure he's in good hands. Went to a pumpkin patch. Aww. Fun. So yeah, so TwitchCon was good, but a little weird. But I had a good time, and I learned a lot. I have a lot of pages of notes. So I am going to be tweaking a few things on the channel. It's not really going to like change anything drastic. But it's just like little tweaks here and there that I can easily implement. And then there's maybe some other things down the road that we might be implementing as well. So yeah. And the weather's fantastic. San Diego, 70s, sunny. Oh, beautiful. Anyway, let's get on into it. I cannot delay the suffering much longer. We have to play Kingdom Hearts Recoded eventually. Thank you, Roxy. I'm excited too. Gotta turn this down. Okay, we were in Agrabah, apparently. I legit do not remember what we were up to. But if we're in Agrabah, that means we're probably chasing Jafar. This place smells fishy. And we're a long way from water, Waka Waka. Jafar must be close then. You think there's hope for Aladdin in the city? Well, sure there is. A few swift kicks in Jafar's caboose on a kickstart time for Agrabah. And I'll be free as a bird. I'm jealous, really. I'd give anything for that freedom. But I'm stuck until my master wishes for freedom. You want to be free? Gosh, sorry. I never put myself in your shoes. Not that you have shoes, you have a twisted tail, but... Ah, that's okay. I don't have it. Thank you and good night. But there's Genie Hood for you. Phenomenal cosmic power. Itty bitty living space. Wow, deja vu. I think I said the same thing to Al. You know, he seemed to understand more than the others. That's where you two met, right? Lan's a good friend. When we first met, he was looking out for me too. Come on, Genie. He needs us. Lead the way. The only thing we learned from that cutscene is that Genie doesn't have shoes. Please do a Haley Joel Osment impersonation of Sora. No, I can't. Also, good to see you, Gale. Hope you're doing well. Also, I had a red eye from San Diego this morning, and it went fine, and I slept a little bit on the plane, then I got some sleep when I got home, but it's about, by Sora, 5 hours split up into different chunks. So I anticipate crashing in like an hour. That must be the exit, but how do I reach it? Could it be? Where are you? Just make a killer DDR song? You're not wrong. They had DDR at TwitchCon. Find the Gold tricoloma. What's I don't know what a tricoloma is. I'm guessing it's kind of heartless. Okay, no. The challenge said 5, not defeat. There is a difference. If the tricoloma is part of your throat. Oh. It's right next to the thromborax. Oh, we got Olympia Beta. No, Sora, please. You know so little about this game that you cannot make good predictions. You could do, will I complete the challenge? Like, that's a pretty safe one. So, Father, I haven't had a bad time playing this. No, I have a complicated relationship with code because I think it actually is almost a good game. I think it's so close. Because like it uses so much of the Kingdom Hearts formula well, like the command deck, but like the controls are a little off. What would I change and fix? One, I would have more animated cutscenes like they had in 358 instead of the cardboard cutouts. Two, the controls, especially the auto jump, needs to go. Like, it's so unnecessary. Decrease repetitiveness, like the amount of times you have to come to places like this. Seems much more like a game than I expected. The story's a hot nothing. Well, it's Kingdom Hearts. And that's the other thing, is I do think, man, they're like so close to a good idea when it comes to the hurt and the journal, and like, because like the healing of memory is a thing, and like, the movie version is animated. Not fully. The movie version, anything that's like an animated cutscene that we've seen where it's like Goofy and Mickey and Donald talking. See, controls like that too are things I change. Those are animated, but then like a lot of it is just a wall of text against a picture. Yeah, the only one that's like a true movie, because like 358's movie does that as well. But the only one that's a true movie is the Union Cross one, because that's all like original content. Compromise. Next be Tony Goff, I'm gonna ask you about the journal instead of the hurt. Oh no. Speaking of compromise, someone kindly sent in 3 bags of the Brax Fall Harvest candy corn. Why are you going backwards? Why don't you take out the price box? So thank you. Thank you for that donation. I haven't had a chance to add it to the wheel. Hey, Beer Fox. Last year's corn has to be stale by now. Last year's, I ran out of the corn, actually. I wound up eating the whole bag. Because that's what started. That was actually 2 years ago that it started. And that's back when it was basically, it was 100 bits, made me eat one, and then like 500 bits, I'd eat one of each flavor. Brexit's giving dinner candy corn. I don't think they make it anymore, but boy, do I want to be in your possession. Oh, dear. Hey, Beer Fox, good to see you. TwitchCon was interesting. Just telling folks here. Like, the individual panels I attended were actually, for the most part, good, except the very first one I attended was basically... Oh, so you want to improve your stream quality? Just use the 2K beta tool that we have. Duh. Oh, well. Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't get you the mustard Skittles. It just didn't work out. It's too tight of a window. But yeah, it was like literally like... They had 2 Twitch employees and a streamer who's a DJ. And, like, all the DJ did was hype them up like a DJ would, which is fine, but it was in the middle of the convention floor where this panel took place, and so he's shouting at everyone as they're walking around, being like, I'm about to drop some knowledge on y'all, and it's like, okay. You blame the company for the limited release. I don't blame you either. The other thing that I found interesting that I wasn't anticipating was, so there were colored wristbands that would say, you know, that purple was partner, blue was affiliate, pink was just like chat member, yellow was staff. I was anticipating more pink than blue, but no. It was like 95% blue, so mostly affiliates out of the 10,000 people there. A few partners, but I think I only saw one just like Twitch chat member pink wristband the entire weekend. Yeah, it is a work. I mean, part of it is intentional. It's so funny. Because, like, there are panels about how to network and, like, how to meet other streamers and do collabs and things. And, like, one of them was billed as a round table. So, like, you're sitting at these tables. And it's like, okay, so we're gonna, like, practice networking with each other. Nope. Didn't do that at all. And then... you know, folks did not want to learn about your channel. They only wanted to tell you about theirs. I thought for sure the Tricloma would be in there, given that it's an entirely unnecessary room. Hey, Beer Fox, thank you for the 11-month Prime sub. Something, TwitchCon helped make this happen. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that with all the AWS stuff out, Twitch is just like, eh, whatever. Hey, Scruffy. Do you, like Han Solo, not deny being a nerf herder as well? Because I like that. You know, he's like, you're a scruffy-looking nerf herder. And he's like, who's scruffy-looking? It's like, really? That's what you have a problem with, not the nerf herder bit? They may have been hosting it in Myriad. I mean, they probably are, but still, it's just... It's still interesting. No, I'm not ready to take the exit yet. I'm not a nerf herder, but I may be scruffy looking. That's fair. Ah! You have never played a Kingdom Hearts game. Well, I'm sorry that this is your first one, then. This looks fun. It looks fun, but it gets old a little fast. I love the Kingdom Hearts series. It is my favorite game series of all time. This is easily the worst of them all. Okay. We have scoured every room, and I have not come across anything labeled as a gold trichloma. Is this a snipe hunt? I have one last space I can look. I haven't looked on that platform across the way. Nope. Nothing. Well. Oh, there's one more treasure box over there. Fine. Did you play the phone games? Is this better or worse than those? This is... Okay, well, the problem with the phone games is they are gacha games, so, you know, they want you to spend your money. And yes, I did play them. I never spent money on them, though. Okay, we never found the trichloma. We're leaving. If there's a projection, I failed. And it's hard. I mean, this one actually started as a phone game, too. Activates block charge ability, which lets you charge up the clock gauge by blocking. That actually sounds useful. I actually thought Union Cross was fine. It got a little repetitive, but, you know, it's a mobile game. You just play it a little bit here and there. Is there anything kind of... I forget what this is. Let's put something in there. Oh, scan! Sweet! Finally! Wait, I had scan. I can see their health. CAT scan. What? I'm confused. How is this game different from other ones? Well, this falls into the Kingdom Hearts trap of we're gonna tell the story of Kingdom Hearts 1 again. It's literally the third game to tell the same story in some way. It was originally released on the DS, and actually only released on the DS. Well, and originally on a cell phone, but only in Japan. But because of the limited controls of the DS, it's... No, no, no! It's a bit lazy. What, releasing it on phones first? Or retelling the same story? Because Kingdom Hearts has this thing about retelling the same story. And like, but packaging it in a way that's like, oh, but we're telling a new story as well. And it worked for Chain of Memories because like the whole plot was Sora is losing his memory, so it's going through his memories. And this one, it makes sense in a meta way because it's like you are playing through the journal, but it's like just wait until Melody of Memory. Yeah, but I give Melody of Memory a pass because it's a rhythm game. But I do think the controls of this one are a little clunky, especially considering this is made by the same company, well, ported and made for the DS by the same company that made 358, which I really like. Sometimes the mission structure of 358 gets a little repetitive, but like I really like the story and I think it plays well. And this uses the same framework, but it doesn't use it as well. And then it does stuff like that! Is this Kingdom Hearts 1.1? Yeah, basically. I'll be passively watching now because it's time for me to drive home. Well, drive safe. Good to see you, Scruffy. Oh, I didn't know those would fall. Darn it. So you know if I'm chatting, I'm definitely at a stoplight. I believe you. You could also be using text-to-speech. I don't know. Nope, no, don't. I don't want to fall a third time. I said I didn't want to. Oh, Melanie, please drive safe. Yep, we're just gonna ignore these nerds. That's right, I called you nerds. Deal with it. Oh no, they dealt with it! What is the Melody? TTS while driving. That Shop Moogle looks like the same Shop Moogle as in Com. I mean, if you have a good asset, why change it? Okay, we got whatever was in that chest. I couldn't even see it because I got it when I fell through the floor, but did get a level up chip, so let's put that. Yeah, let's replace this magic with a level up because that guy has 2 levels. And this is probably my favorite feature of the game is this level up grid. I think it's actually really fun and creative. And thematic, so. Okay, I just have to get through this door, and there's a boss fight. The floor, it's sinking. Or an elevator, I guess. Better be careful, I don't want to fall off. Oh. Proceeds to almost fall off. You nerds! You cheater, you pushed me off. Looks like a copy of the Sphere Great in Final Fantasy X. Kind of, but I think it is a little different. Because I think the way it branches is more interesting, actually. Nope. So, you grabbed the ledge. Why did you let go? Like, I do think there are similarities, but I think it's also just thematically fitting that it's like chips and, you know, computer stuff. Even though you're supposed to be in a journal, you're like in a computer projection of a journal. Will you stop? It's over, Jafar. You've got no place else to run. What? How could you have eluded all those traps? It seems clear to me now. You are no street rat. Why not serve me? Whatever you desire, I can make it happen. Whatever I desire, huh? All right. I desire for Aladdin to be Sultan. Make that happen.
Liam, do not toy with me. Perhaps you need a lesson in what a true ruler can do. That is, if you can tell the true ruler from the others.
I'm not good at this, but I have fun. Track down Jafar. How about we don't die right at the start of the fight? Why, Sora? Why? Gosh, I wonder which one's the real Jafar. Could it be the one that's actually opaque? That was cheating because I walked in there. Choose quest exploration. I'm sorry, choose what? That is not a real word. It's nice starting a boss fight with full health bar. And Pow Fruit is? Yeah, but that's like a fruit. I'm willing to give that a pass. It's a fruit. Because I know you're a fake Jafar, but you know what? There's a prize box right there. No, Sora. Please. Thank you. Or Keyblade? Look, okay, well, when you put it that way, I'm still gonna say Questploration sounds really... It's a really dumb portmanteau. Yeah, Scruffy's right. It is in my heart, except for Questploration. That actually sounds almost like a medication. Ask your doctor if Questploration is right for you. Hey, a squirrel. Found out your parents got a new dog. Previous family dog died a little under a year ago. I don't live with them anymore, so I get to just kind of fun uncle it or whatever. My brother still lives with them. He doesn't know yet. That's about to be interesting. How do you keep that a secret? Give it up, Jafar. Let Jasmine go. The city too.
You leave me little choice. I was saving my final wish to make Jasmine love me. But now I will simply have to take the princess and city by force. Spirit of the Lamb, I wish for you to make me an all-powerful genie.
Where'd he go?
I told you, boy. You will never find the far side of the door. And now, such power. Nothing can stop me from shaping the world as I see fit. Savor your final moments, boy. Soon I will crush you.
Now what do I do? This genie's power.
Don't panic, Sora. Jafar's closer than you think.
Mickey, are you sure?
Think about it. What do we know about hidden doors? Jafar must be inside the keyhole. We've got to find it, and quickly.
Leave it to me. Surprised me with their dog who's still living there. You're very sneaky. Wait, why do I have a timer? Why is there a timer to find the door? Oh, well, that was easy. I've heard my Mickey voice described as frighteningly good. And I create portmanteaus their real words when others do it, they're creating gibberish. Look, it's called neologisming. Aha! Now, time to face Jafar. Here goes. Enter the keyhole? Sure. What gimmick is this gonna be? Well, also, Roxy, I think the dog aided in that because it runs outside whenever people are around, so... Oh, it's so orange. Your brother's out working on a job site. My parents are in an office, but they took a break to see the dog. Well, clearly didn't want to stop seeing the dog. Haha. Impressive, boy. But your persistence has won you nothing. I am invincible. What can you possibly do? I'll get you back. I'll get back to you on that. So are you going to write him a business form about this? Like a TPS 10 report? Mail it in 4 to 10 business days? Genie here. Do you read me, Sora? Loud and clear, Genie. He's not kidding about the invincible part. None of your attacks can hurt him. But Jafar is a genie now, which means... the lamp! Nab that and you've got your shot, kiddo. Just be careful, Jafar still has the power to call time out. Roger that, Genie. Over and out. I will retrieve the magic lamp by smacking it. That is the obvious solution. Also, there's no gimmick here. This is just normal. Get back here, Yago. I have a feeling if that thing touches me, I stop. It's weird that a normal boss fight is somehow the most boring and simultaneously the best boss fight so far. You found Father Evan. Throw a great ball. Shake. Shake. Oh, I appear to be caught. So you're gonna need to use a Master Ball.
Hold still, you bothersome brat. Very well.
Also good to see Chizo. See how you handle this. Okay, well, we found the gimmick.
I'm getting too all flapped out.
Now's your chance, Sora. Knock down that lamp. But you can't give Yago the old one, too, if you can't reach him. See anything red, they'll give you a leg up. Thanks, Genie.
You've scurried around long enough. This is the end, boy.
Whoop. Oh, come on. What? What? Oh, no, it's changing. Oh, no, there are magnets now. How'd they work? It's a miracle. Sure wish I had air dash. Jafar, that was so rude of you. I'm going to talk to Carol in HR about this. This kind of office workplace aggression is really not valued by the company. We strive to have an open and communicative platform. Thank you very much. My office does not have liquid or hot magma. Well, then your office is missing out on some amenities. Talk to OSHA if this is approved or not. Magnets work by vacuum. Where are you? Oh, camera, please. Camera. Vacuum does not exist there. Can we say that vacuums don't exist? I'm pretty sure I just went to clean my floor. Yeah, I need to turn the camera off to hate these kind of blocks. Oh my goodness. Oh, goodness me. You know what? I take it back that this was an interesting boss fight. Democracy has decided that exploration is a real word. Well, democracy has decided it.
Yep, okay. I give up. Just watch the tail feathers. No, my
Lamp Ruther. Now, Sora. Right, time for you to see your new home, Jafar. I love Liam. Liam Ruther. World complete. Grr, no fair. That clown was supposed to cast this world into darkness. Huh, Pete? You're not getting away this time. Oh no, he got away. Sora, leaving already? Yeah, Genie, I gotta go. Will you help Jasmine back to town and give the lamp to Aladdin? Consider it done. That's wish number 2. So what's on the menu for numero tres, amigo? Well, I know what I want to wish for. I think Aladdin will want the same thing. We can't both wish it. He found the lamp first. Well, what matters is he was your friend first. He'll do us right. Gosh, Sora, that was beautiful. I'll tell Al that's how you feel. Thanks. Are you kidding? Thank you. Take care, Genie. Tell everybody I said hi. Random scroll news. I finished the book of Daniel. Gotta say it's your favorite major prophet book. Hey, that's awesome. Daniel's a good one. Gathering data, assembling data, data recovery 30%. Canon Sora would not free the genie. I don't. Okay. I think he was letting Al do it. But all right, Pete, you're through running. Who said anything about running? Huh? All right, come on and show him who's boss. Maleficent. Who are you? An amusing jest, boy, but one I will not abide. If you desire a reminder of my power, then I shall give you one. Remember, this is the first we've seen of Maleficent since Kingdom Hearts 2, where she holds back the horde of
Isn't that odd?
Heartless.
Huh? So we see 'twas but a lie. And now that it's gone, this entire world shall be mine to rule. Yes, my loyal minions. Drag all that you see into deepest darkness! Ah!
You okay?
Huh? Riku! Mickey!
Maleficent! What are you
Remember,
doing
this
here in
Riku is not the
Dead
real
Escape?
Riku. This Riku
Did
is
it
actually
escape?
the embodiment of
Spare me your dull details.
the journal.
But since you're wondering, it was all my idea, you bozo. We caught wind right away you was up to something, see? So I decided to pay you a little visit on Maleficent's orders. And what do I find?
What's that bright light?
And that's how yours truly got sucked into the light show.
So, how did...
I woke up all by my lonesome in the weirdest place.
Well, yeah, you weren't in the journal of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Oh! Oh. Maleficent! You seeing this? Better get here right away!
You'll take no such turn with me. What is this place?
I ain't no expert, but I think it's hooking a bunch of places together. Could come in handy for taking over them worlds, huh?
It does seem. For once, you may have done something right.
And there you have it. We've been digging around in here ever since. Turns out this place connects right to their castle of yours. Or at least it did before I took control of the only way out. So you're the one who cut the link. Rest assured, both worlds shall be mine before long. Once I've immersed this one in darkness, I can send my heartless horde back into your castle.
No!
The long slumber has ended and a new era has begun, one where all worlds belong to me. My worlds must be free of light and you'll shine far too brightly. This time it is you who will sleep. Wrong. This is one world I won't let you touch. Foolish boy.
Oh! Riku!
Now, you boy, you belong to darkness, not to light. I shall take this one with me. I'm sure he will prove useful. Once again, this is all Ansem's fault. It is, and it's Ansem. Like, Ansem the Wise, Diz. All this game is his fault. Yeah, check and mate. So long, suckers. No! Riku.
It's going to be okay, Sora.
This is terrible. Poor Riku. Say, fellas, hasn't Riku got all the journal data inside him? If Maleficent cast him into darkness, the whole datascape could go kaplooey. Technical words.
How many worlds still have bugs, Jiminy?
Just one, it looks like. We're so close, but now... That was your way home, huh? Yes, I'm so sorry. I really blew it.
It's not your fault, Sora. Don't you worry. I'll take care of this.
Your Majesty.
Well, why not? I'll find another way to fix the bugs and rescue Riku too.
Let me help, Mickey. This time I won't let anyone take the key. Huh? That's weird. The Keyblade... I can't summon it.
Sora, I'm sorry. Maleficent destroyed your Keyblade.
For good?
I have to be honest with you. That Keyblade was something we wrote into the datascape from the outside. Now that you're trapped inside the datascape, there's no way for us to get it back.
But I want to...
I know, but you've already done a lot for us. It's time for me to see what I can do. Now, you all sit tight right here.
I'm worried. Do you think the king needs help? Ah, he'll manage. You don't get to be king for nothing. Well, actually. Well, he can oh, that was heartless little thing or two, but Maleficent and Peter are on the loose. Let's not forget. The bugs, gosh. This worry in this thing is contagious. Definitely said to sit tight. Sora, what do you think we should do? Sora? He was there a second ago. Oh, fellas, you don't think... The Keyblade's not everything. I can still help. Even if it just means getting Riku out of here. You again? What a has-been like you doing here? I can't keep one voice for Pete today. It's okay. Start talking, Pete. Where are you keeping Riku? Well, shucks. If you want to find out that bad, you're just gonna have to catch me. You nitwit. Good luck trying. I just finished rigging this joint Pete style. You won't last 10 steps. Hey, that's what you think. We have now skipped like 5 worlds. That's another thing about this game. It's like, oh, you get to replay the Kingdom Hearts 1, so you get to go to these places. Oh, no, you don't go to these places. So long, sucker! Remember, without the Keyblade, you'll not be able to fight off the Heartless or break blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hey, look, we survived 10 steps. These doors won't budge. There has to be a switch or something to open them. Also, in answer to your question, Beer Fox, there are actually Kingdom Hearts, like cameos and Easter eggs in some Disney stuff. In the Mickey Mouse shorts made by Paul Rudd, I think it is. There is a short where Mickey is a hoarder and his friends are helping him clean out his apartment. And in one of the boxes is Kingdom Key D. So this took me somewhere. It's worth a shot. See where it goes? Yeah. He said he'd rig this place. Better keep my eyes peeled. How do you hit the boxes without a key? You don't! That's the problem. Wow, when you touch a blue switch, a red switch appeared. How wild. Okay, dropping blocks directly on top of my head is cheating. What's this switch? Best side character, Sebastian from Little Mermaid? That sounded... What were the other options? Pete? Sleeping Beauty? I'm confused. Gale, Pete? Sleeping Beauty? What? I'm confused. Sound like something heavy moving. The doors, the doors, the doors. Wisdom be attentive. It's a Byzantine literature joke. Brayherd would be laughing if he were here today. He's Maleficent's henchman? Okay, fair enough. Although, she meets him later outside of Sleeping Beauty. Like, he's not in Sleeping Beauty in Birth by Sleep. Which is canonically, at the end of that, Maleficent gets banished from the kingdom, and that's how she gets traveling the worlds and meets Pete after he gets banished from Castletown. Oh, I'm a nerd! I should not be able to just say that. Hey, blocks! Just want to trap me in. Gah! You're a real piece of work waltzing in here like you can do nothing. I can do enough to wipe that smug look off your face. Oh, I'm shaking in my boots. Heartless, get him. Now you all play nice while I finish setting up our puppet show. Question marks? What question marks, Beer Fox? Get back here. There's always... Oh, yeah. If you don't know what room you're entering in Kingdom Hearts, it's always called 3 question marks. This is ridiculous. At my keyblade, these guys would be toast. Oh, this is it. Do or die. Look out, Sora. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Gosh, Sora. The king said to stay put. Goofy, you shouldn't run off like that. I know, I'm sorry. I just... Nope, not another word. Let's get going. All right, I'm going. Hey, up. Going where? It's this direction. Huh? We're chasing after Pete, aren't we? Let's hurry before he gets too far. You're not mad? Thanks, Goofy. I owe ya. Owe me for what? You said it yourself, Sora. Friends don't keep score. Right. Uh-oh. Company, leave it to me. Thanks. Ask Goofy for help. I... Switch between... Okay.
Goofy! Goofy! Goofy!
Attack these Heartless. See, and they tease you here with like, oh, you could have companions, but we're only going to give it to you in certain spots. You didn't happen to see Donald, did you? We were looking for you together, but must have got split up somewhere along the way. I don't know where, but this castle is huge. I hope he's okay. I have to keep an eye out for him while we look for Pete. Goofy's an enabler. Oh, that is not a sentence I was prepared to read. Ever. You're not wrong. Look, he's a single dad. He's just doing his best. Ooh, Cura. That's pretty big. That'll be nice when we can, you know, actually use abilities again. Pete went through there, right? I think so. Gorsh does that, seem to. Wanna open. Wait, check out those slots in the door. Shape must be the Heartless's emblem. If we find the pieces that fit in the slots... Yeah, I don't know what it's gonna do either, Sora. It's a mystery. What's this thing? It's called a Switch. And it's not the kind that plays video games. Huh, isn't that... Hey, Donald, wait up! We better go after him, Sora! Right, hurry. Where's the Switch to? The Switch know you. Man, I love playing video games where I get to be like a central character who does things. It's my favorite. Goofy, you literally walked past. in a block killing spree. Yeah, but he went after the wrong blocks. I was hoping he'd go after the ones that were right in front of me, blocking the way. Like that. Thank you. Excuse me? Oh. Thanks, I hate it. I hate the hitbox of the bouncy blocks. Thank you, Goofy, for getting all those items for me. How am I actually supposed to make it across all that? 'Cause that looked like a whole lot of nonsense. I think I see the path forward very carefully with Goofy. Set him loose. Also, why can he stand on those blocks and be fine? Goofy, where are you? Okay, arrow resistance +3 is nice, but that's not... He just air danced, that was hilarious. Yeah, I mean, Goofy doesn't really have a good grasp on physics. I wonder if the fourth one is down here. Yeah, he discovered flight. He just missed the ground, so he could fly. It's jump will work. But there were some spaces down here in the waterway that we couldn't get to because of blocks. So where did Donald run off to? I think I think he's close. Apparently this is the way we're supposed to go. No, Goofy. These blocks. First. Hey, Brainerd. Hope springs a turtle. Second, third. Bird. Thirst. Dad, Goofy, get over here. These blocks. No, Goofy, these blocks. Oh, it's right there. That's gonna be so easy. Ooh, Blizzaga. I don't know if this qualifies as a puzzle, but it's at least fun. Donald! We finally caught up! Sora! And Goofy! Where'd you wander off to? There's no time to go missing. Me? Yeah, Donald, aren't you the one who went missing? Oh, whatever. Do you have any idea how worried I was? Sorry, Donald. Me too. I dragged you guys into a real mess. I hardly even know you. Oh, just you wait a second. Huh? We kinda like getting dragged into your messes. Why? It's no fun watching from the other side of a computer screen. We've been looking for an excuse to help, so we can go on an adventure just like old times. We may not be a new Keyblade, but you can sure count on us. Can you count on a Keyblade? Can you hold it up and go 1, 2, you know, it only goes up so far. There's only so many points on it. I don't know what to say. But I'll start with thanks. You just leave the Heartless to me. I'll show him who's boss. What do you know? This thing responded to your magic. It did, just like I planned. Another point in favor of this game, the writing. It's bonkers, but I love it. Donald has joined. He'll follow the same strategy. You can use his magic.
Goofy! Donald!
Why doesn't he have... Why doesn't he cast Cure? Oh no, this is Donald. You count the tines on the key, but the problem is there's only so many tines. And then sometimes you get tines. puzzles figuring out Goofy's afro. I don't know. I think that's a good puzzle itself. Yes, ascend. Just find another Keyblade. Yeah, well, I mean, we could go to the Keyblade graveyard. There's literally thousands there. Only one more piece left to track down. What? What do you mean? I thought we had all 4. I wonder if Donald not having cure was intentional. Probably. I don't know. They probably just were like, Donald, will your magic work on this thing? I'll give it a try. They're probably just like, just give him something offensive. More than him not casting cure is offensive. Ooh, think fast. Goofy senses blocks. He demands vengeance. Clearly blocks did something to Goofy. Do we have to one in the basement? No, I picked it up. I think it's... I have a feeling it's here in the... library. Because now I have the ability with Donald to open certain doors. Right, I need to do a thing. That was an awful cycle. Yeah. Can't all be winners. How are you guys doing? What? Library 1. Then in here? Is there another way I was supposed to go out of the upper portion? You went to the dentist instead of work? I'd rather go to work. Was it 2:30 already? Gosh, I wonder which one it is. Okay, it's actually picked up speed a little bit. And I'm gonna lose because they are going after the wrong one. Oh, we have to go this way. No? Donald! Donald! Please get out of my way. Take care of these nerds.
Power!
I don't know what just happened. Oh, I was so close. You did an ultimate move? I did, I guess. I wasn't really paying attention to the prompts earlier about what it was talking about, so.
Guilty! Guilty! Power!
I feel like this would be really good against a boss. Or a horde of Heartless. Instead, we're using it against blocks. There we go. Last emblem piece. Let's hope it does the trick with that weird door. Yeah, we gotta stop Pete. Come on! There, how's that for a perfect fit? You said Pete went through here, right? Yeah, something about a puppet show? Whatever's in there, fellas, we better watch out. He's the one we're gonna have to watch out. Pete's the one who's gonna have to watch out. See where this goes? Yes, we will, but first, we're gonna take a commercial break. Leave it on a cliffhanger. So, don't go anywhere. We'll just take a quick 3-ish commercial break. Take this chance to get up, stretch your legs, do what you need to do, get a drink of water, and we'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. And we are back. And Gale, that is an incredibly cursed sentence. Thank you. And a Rota, who appointed me as your arbitrator. I love that sense of just like, I'm not here for that purpose, and it's true. I mean, in a sense, the crowds may not have always understood Jesus, and we don't always understand Jesus. And so it's sometimes, do we try to put him into our little boxes, or do we try to remain open to what he is telling us? That's my spouse. Yep. You took a good long look at someone who writes things like that and said, yep. Guys, you have to go around the shield. If friends get KO'd, move up close to them to rescue them. Well, maybe if they stop being terrible. The AI does not know how to attack a defender. The only thing I don't like is how they try to have a conversation. I mean, yeah, it's a universal experience of going to the dentist. Or just bounce off the shield repeatedly. That's cool too. This is the worst kind of babysitting. Oh my goodness. Guys. I'm not using Spinner Ray. I will use Spinner Ray here. Well, Goofy, I'm glad I have you guys. Oh, yuck. Where'd that come from? It's just weird, you know, when I'm with you two, I feel like I can do anything. Don't laugh, but, well, it almost feels like we've done this before. Ah, well, that right there is a sign you've found true friends. It's kind of fun to make the same friend twice. But right now, it's time to get serious. Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. Right. Gosh, don't forget Riku's still waiting for us. Okay, come on. Nope, wrong button. I was too used to Kingdom Hearts 2 where it's like triangle to do that. No. Donald, get out of my way. I need to climb these. Well, that looks glitchy. What's with these pipes? There's gotta be a way past. Did they come into this space with me? I don't remember. It looks like they do. Use your finish command. Sure. That sounds easy. Done it before.
Goofy! 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 Donald! Goofy!
Oh, come on. Prediction is up. Uh-oh.
Donald! Goofy! Goofy!
If the prediction was I will use my ability, the answer is yes. I predict that one of the following will happen. Either he will beat it or he will not beat it. There is no tries. Oh, slow down there. There's still an enemy somewhere? There he is. There are other rooms. That's a shame. Defeat 24 Heartless. I believe in me. And by me, I mean Donald and Goofy.
Goofy!
what? It just cut out in the middle of doing the thing. It was like, we're done. That was weird. Oh, this is probably why there's black fungi here. You think black fungi are a challenge? I abhor a mushroom like nature abhors a vacuum.
Power!
Power. Eat. Okay, the idea, again, this is one of those things where, like, the shtick of this level is nice, but man, it doesn't get old. Especially because you basically don't actually get to play the game. Play Deep Rock Galactic, initiate the condition of standing around and shouting mushroom in the middle of the mission. Another reason not to play Deep Rock Galactic. Good to know. Mission complete. Okay, where's the last infected Heartless? You're just normal Heartless, I don't care. Ah, there it is. Yeah, look at me play video game. I'm so good at playing video game.
Goofy! Goofy! Goofy!
Yes, we're done. We've done the thing. Deeb Lazara, encase yourself in ice and bowl over full foes. That sounds like a lot of fun. It's like Meganera. Probably pretty useful. How do I know Pete's down here? This is normally. That's not where that is in the castle. I know this castle's architecture too well. Now we've got you, Pete. Couldn't do a thing by yourself, so you were crying to your pals, eh? Well, it won't do y'all lucky good. Incoming Heartless. Let me at him. Gotcha. Cubes? Look out! Whack, we're trapped. I can't move. Donald, Goofy, what do I do? Gah, what a pair of rubes. Why risk your necks for a lump of data? Oh yeah, I know all about this phony. Those guys made him just like that phony Keyblade he's got. Don't you ever talk about Sora like that. He's our friend in this world and every other one too. Well, maybe on the outside, but he's just an empty shell. Kid don't got a heart. That's not true. We've got Sora's heart right here. Oh yeah? You'd see it too if you were looking. What? Why would he keep fighting for us no matter the danger, no matter how hard things got, if he didn't care? Yep. And we'll fight for him too. You know why? Because he's in our hearts as much as we're in his. Our friend is our power, and will always be his. We're connected. Ah, your mush. You guys are finished. Let's see your power protect you from this. Whack! Ouch! Donald, no, Goofy! Stop, please don't hurt them. Nighty-night, losers. No! What just... The Keyblade? It's the power of friendship. What's the big idea? I saw Maleficent destroy that thing.
Sora, you're full of surprises.
I don't know who that was. Yes, nailed it. Donald can cast Zeta Flip. Yeah. Well, maybe he hasn't learned it yet. Mickey. What did I do?
I'm not sure, Sora. All I can say is that something in you has changed. The Keyblade takes its power from the wielder's strength of heart. But an old friend of mine once said, a heart is so much more than any system. I gave you the Keyblade as data, and never expected it to match the real Keyblade's power. But during your journey, you made a connection with us. You've risen above the system, Sora. You've gained power unlike anybody else's. And that's what brought your Keyblade back.
Wow.
I guess we're meant to handle this world's bugs together.
Why does Mickey have Starseeker? Mickey's canonically given that to Sora in Kingdom Hearts 2. He should be using King Key D exclusively at this point. Oh, it ain't fair. Sprout a new Keyblade is cheating. Better make a strategic retreat before. Not so fast. First, hand over Riku, or else. Oh, now let's talk about this. What now? Gathering data, assembling data, data recovery, 60%. So long, chumps. No, we
lost him. But we found a keyhole.
Let's head inside. Hold on, guys. Leave this one to me. Why? I never would have made it here without the three of you. But it's my turn now. Let me be your light, and I'll show you the way home. Is that hamming it up a little? Yeesh, let me just have my moment. Well, let's slide this time.
Don't have to do this alone, Sora. Remember that you're part of a team. When you get hurt, it hurts us too.
How could I forget? I promise I'll come back safe. End of the road, Pete. What? You know when to quit. Do yourself a favor and come quietly. After all the times you ruined my plans, not likely. It's my turn to teach you a trick or three of my own. Trick or three. Okay, so the Nordstrom's, the flagship? Yeah, it had a Christmas window up already today, and I was like, no. You hate holiday creep. You dislike holidays in general. Both are valid. Especially the creep. Man, holiday creep is just... That's like the definition of out of control holiday creep in my opinion. Like, before Halloween... Is there a phase 2? I'm guessing there's a phase 2.
Not bad, bozo. No more Mr. Nice Beat.
Yep. Ah! I hate how much Pete uses silence. No! Let's try that again. Oh, cool. It takes me straight to phase 2. That's nice. That is kind of unique, I feel, in some Kingdom Hearts games. It depends on how the phase 2 happens, I guess. I jumped. Look at me, I actually blocked. What madness is this? Repeat. Stay in one place. Thank you. Ah, I pressed the wrong button there. Oof, not again. Give up? Heh, I still got an ace up my sleeve. Come out and say hello. Oh no, it's Riku. Stay back, Sora. Riku, what's wrong? I took the liberty of taking his liberty away. All I had to do was load some of those bug thingies into your belly's datamatronics. Now let's see how my new minion can do. Your master orders you to attack. Chance. No dice. I guess we need a little more juice. Leave him alone. That ought to do it. I'll just leave you two to get reacquainted. So long. Again, there was actually some funny lines in the writing of this one. Riku, talk to me.
I heard a scream, Sora. What's going on in there?
Mickey, it's Riku. They put bugs in him.
What? Riku, can you hear me? I'm calling the Orkin Man. Riku!
Come on, Riku. Can't you hear us? Strike me down. What? Hey, we can hear Riku. Riku's theme. It's a really nice track. It's a little compressed in this version, but it is the DS. Yeah, you can barely hear the guitar. There's some really nice, like, Spanish guitar going on in this track. Riku has a phase 2. What is this, a 4-phase boss? Not what I wanted to lock onto. Thank you.
Keep trying. Keep trying.
We did it! Riku's your hero. Okay, phase 3? Oh. Oh. So you remember how to do that move, do you?
Keep trying.
This is probably the easiest Riku fight of the series.
Keep trying.
Because, let's see, there's the Riku fight in 1, which is really hard. There's the Riku fight in 358 over 2 days, which is also pretty hard because it's towards the end of the game. There's not a Riku fight in 2 that I remember. There's a Riku fight in this, obviously. There's a Riku fight in 3.
Just trying to keep up. Keep trying.
Use that potion. Judge Great. Riku in Mulan World 2. Okay, yeah, you do. That's a really easy one, though, because he's just, like, testing out your power. It's meant to be a fake out of, like, oh, is this a bad guy? And it's like, no, this is Riku. You were right. Thank you for reminding me of that. But yeah, then there's a couple fights in 3 because you have to fight him in Big Hero 6 World. Oh, we were both so close to being dead.
Just trying to keep up.
No! Ah, we were so close. I love being right. Is there one in Dream Drop? I'm trying to remember. There's obviously not one in Birth by Sleep, because he's but a child.
Keep trying. Keep trying. Just trying to keep up.
I'm trying to remember if there's one where in Dream Drop where it's like, oh, you must fight the idea of your friend. Oh, Chain of Memories, of course, has. Half of DDD is Ryu fights, but you're Riku. Yeah. Yeah. Not quite what I meant, but... You are full of malarkey, my friend.
Keep trying. Keep trying. Just trying to keep up.
That's actually kind of a huge pickup of health there.
Keep trying.
Oh, no. Ah.
Just trying to keep up.
Yeah, I kind of got stuck in the corner there, and when he blocked out my my cure. Lose twice, streamer debuff is real. It's so true. I mean, to be fair, I also took a red eye last night from San Diego, and I'm running on minimal sleep. And I'm forgetting what button is which, because like my brain is wanting to default to the PlayStation controls, not the Nintendo controls.
Keep trying. Just trying to keep up.
like I couldn't change my command deck because it's like I got Kira, I got all sorts of good stuff, but nope. I got a different Keyblade.
Keep trying.
There we go. Eat some candy for energy. I think that would cause me to crash out even harder. No time bonus. Weird. Hey, let's go. We get Oblivion. We don't get Oathkeeper in this one, I think.
Huh? Oh. Ah! Ah! Is he? Do you think?
Well, if the bugs have taken over Riku, then that means he might not ever wake up unless we get rid of the bugs first.
Riku. So if I debug him, Riku will come back to us.
Huh?
Guys, I gotta go inside to look.
So you're in the datascape of a journal.
Riku?
I know it's risky, but if a friend needs me to be there, I'll be there to help.
Is DDD but in reverse?
Well, I guess that's Sora for you.
Still can't talk you out of it, huh?
But you're in the datascape of the journal, and you have the representation
Thanks,
of person of the journal, and now we're going inside the heart of that person. So we're going inside the heart of the journal, inside the journal.
Sora,
Game makes
Don't
no
forget.
sense.
you're not going in there alone. Your friends will be right there fighting alongside you in spirit, no matter where you go.
Layers like an onion. Then I should be able to dice it. For magic, layer 7. So this is Riku's datascape. It's so empty. Wow, rude. Orbs!
Huh?
What's going on? I feel kind of funny. Sorry, are you okay? You're asking me? You shouldn't be here. I can fight the bugs off a little longer. But they're spreading. Pretty soon they'll take over all my data. You feel weak, right? It's because the bugs are still in your data. You won't last long in here. Take this and escape while you can. What is it? Data I found on my other partition. It doesn't belong in Jiminy's journal. Somebody's added it after the fact. The same person that hid the journal's contents inside you? I'm not sure. It's up to you to find out. Gale, that's the hurt. That's the hurt. Thanks to you, all of the bugs outside of me are gone. You can just solve the mystery of this extra data, and the journal will be completely restored. That should open the way back for Mickey and the others. But what about you? I'll dive into the darkness and take these bugs with me. I'll never see the light again. But go, Sora. I'm still in control. The bugs are getting stronger, but there's still just enough time. Well then, I guess that settles it. Right, okay, see, Bear. If there's just enough time to escape, there's just enough time to stop the bugs! We can beat this, Riku! What? You're not listening. Come on, Riku. You didn't really think I'd give up and just leave. Sora, Why do I even bother? Once you get an idea in your head, that's it. Well, at least you learned to stop trying. That's progress. All right. Well, the bugs have stolen your powers, so first thing to do is get them back. That light over there leads deeper into my data. Inside is a world from my memories and some of the bugs that took your data. Get that data back. Get your powers back. It's simple. Then you can worry about me. Once you've regained your powers and stopped the bugs in one world, now the world should open. Be careful. Right. Data recovery, breaking prize blocks and defeating enemies. Include data prizes. You must collect these to restore your powers. Meeting time. Be back later. Probably not, because I think I'm gonna call it there for the day because I am really tired, and I'm like fighting to stay awake, and yeah. So I think that's a nice place to call it for the day. So sorry for the slightly shorter stream, but you know, these things happen. It's all good. We'll make up for it because we'll be back at Kingdom Hearts Recoded next week. And we're getting close to the end because you do this and then you do Castle Oblivion and then End of the World, and I think that's it. So we might, I don't think we'll finish it next week, but we're getting close. This game is pretty short. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. See, Gale, there, that's the hurt. Now you have an answer. Just for you. What are we doing tomorrow? Tomorrow we're playing Neva. I think we're gonna finish Neva, given its length. It seems like it's got like a day and a night in 3 seasons, so 6 levels, and we completed 3 last time, so it should be 3 this time. Midweek Minecraft, working on the greenhouse, and Thursday, Riven. And then yeah, no bonus streams this week, but next week, Wednesday evening, it's looking like I'm probably doing Glurp, drink more Glurp with P Tony. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, again, thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, checked out the YouTube, checked out the Discord. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and let's see who's live that we can raid into. I'm going to send you over to Mama of 3 Dinos. She's a friend of the channel, I think she got connected to me through Riff. She's playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. So, you know, we're going from one Disney property to another. Seems fitting. Raid call is Father Raid, as usual. But yeah, go give Mama of 3 Dinos some love. And again, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.